Whoever touched that golden statue never returned. Prince Arjun vanished into that very mystery, just a flash of light, and then nothing. Some say it was an incomplete tale of love, others believe it was a curse upon the soul. Tonight, only King Vikramaditya and the spirit Betal can uncover the truth. A corpse hanging from the branch of a peepal tree, and a demonic soul that narrates a new story every night. This is the strange saga of Vikram and Betal. The cold winds whispered against the ancient walls of Ujjaini fort. The moon hid behind thick clouds and an eerie silence blanketed the entire kingdom. King Vikramaditya stood before the fort, mounted on his loyal steed. His face was stern, his eyes lost in deep thought. With him was Betal, the ghostly being who returned night after night, bringing with him mysterious tales and haunting riddles. Dangling from a high branch of the peepal tree was a corpse. Its face had turned dark and lifeless, and its body trembled with unnatural stiffness. Vikram reined in his horse and said to Betal, "Tonight's story will not be like the others. Hidden within tonight's tale is the truth behind the golden statue that swallowed our Prince Arjun." Betal let out a deep, chilling laugh and replied, "King Vikram, every story hides a fragment of the truth, but will you be able to find it? Come, let us try to unlock this mystery tonight." The story begins in a time when the Ujjaini Empire was at the peak of its golden age. King Vikramaditya was known far and wide for his sense of justice and unmatched bravery. But within his prosperous kingdom lay a mystery that no one dared to unveil. Prince Arjun, the youngest son of the king, was adored for his courage and beauty. His intelligence and wisdom were admired by all. One day, while exploring the ancient corridors of the royal palace, he discovered a hidden door in the deepest chamber of the basement. Behind this secret door was a room that had remained untouched for centuries. Inside, at the center of the room, stood a statue of a woman entirely made of gold. It was so exquisite that its glow illuminated the entire chamber. Her eyes seemed almost alive, and a soft smile lingered on her lips. At the base of the statue was an ominous inscription: "Whoever touches me shall have their soul imprisoned for eternity." Ignoring the warning, Prince Arjun reached out and touched the statue. In that very instant, a blinding light engulfed the room, and Arjun vanished. Panic spread throughout the palace. No one could find the prince. There were no screams, no trace, no sound. The royal court was filled with fear and grief. Some believed the statue held the spirit of a cursed soul, a woman whose tale of love was left incomplete. The statue was thrown into the forest beyond the palace grounds, but every night it mysteriously returned to its original place inside the chamber. No priest, no exorcist, no spell could keep it away. Determined to uncover the truth, King Vikramaditya decided to investigate the mystery himself. Taking his most trusted companion Betal along, he began his journey to uncover the secrets behind the golden statue that had swallowed his son, and perhaps a tale that time had forgotten. King Vikramaditya and Betal now moved deeper into the dark, hidden underground chamber where the golden statue was concealed. The path was narrow and treacherous. The walls were damp and cold, and the air carried a strange, musty scent, like a buried secret decaying along the edges of the stone corridors. "Betal," the king spoke, his voice echoing softly in the eerie silence, "what is the true source of this statue's power? Is it really just a symbol of a love story, or is there something more sinister behind it?" Betal responded in a deep, mysterious tone, "O king, every story has its own darkness. Be it love or hatred, power or curse, some truths wait in silence to be discovered." As they ventured further into the chamber, the radiant glow of the statue began to spread through the air. The king reached out to touch the cold wall. "The room must be somewhere here," he said thoughtfully. Suddenly a faint whisper echoed through the corridor. "All who enter this mystery never return." The king paused and turned to Betal. Betal chuckled, "Look, O king, the story is about to begin." They reached the oldest section of the underground vault. There stood a grand chamber, and in the center the golden statue as magnificent as ever. Its beauty was still breathtaking. The statue's eyes shimmered with enchantment, and a faint, almost knowing smile lingered on its lips. King Vikram stared at it closely. "Is this the very statue that swallowed Prince Arjun?" Betal nodded solemnly. "Yes, and tonight we must uncover the truth behind it." The king mustered his courage and tried to touch the statue, but the moment his palm approached it, a shiver ran through his entire arm, forcing him to step back. This is not just a statue, Betal said. It holds the soul of a cursed spirit, and it guards a secret, one that traps anyone who dares to solve it. The king turned to Betal. We must find out where Arjun is, and how to bring him back. Betal's voice grew grim. It won't be easy, O king. Beneath this statue lies a hidden chamber. That's where Arjun and many others are imprisoned. But to reach it, you must solve a riddle. Without that, the door will remain closed forever. King Vikram's eyes lit up with intrigue. A riddle? Tell me, what is this riddle? Betal smiled cryptically. Listen to the tale, and seek the answer to the riddle hidden within. The beginning of the riddle. Long ago, in a kingdom called Malavgar, lived a young man named Vivek. Vivek was deeply in love, so much so that he had forgotten the world around him. The name of his beloved was Shivangi. Shivangi was so beautiful that even a single glimpse of her would pierce a man's heart with longing. But their love story was not without obstacles. Shivangi's father, a stern and merciless man, was firmly against their union. He plotted to have Vivek killed. Shivangi, desperate to save her lover, learned an ancient magical chant, one that could transcend time itself. But the chant would only work if the love was pure and true. To preserve their love forever, Shivangi created a golden statue into which she bound her very soul. The statue became a symbol of love's power, and anyone who touched it would be caught in a trial, a test of their love's strength and truth. The riddle. I am a force that is unseen, yet I control all. I am a scream without sound, a wound without touch. Those who understand me survive, those who ignore me vanish. What am I? King Vikram fell silent, thinking deeply. To save Arjun, he murmured, we must solve this riddle and unlock the path to the hidden chamber. King Vikram stood in the dark chamber of the secret underground vault, accompanied by Betal. The glow of the golden statue had dimmed, but nearby an old chest caught their attention. Strange symbols were carved into its surface, symbols that seemed to whisper an ancient message in a forgotten language. Perhaps this chest holds the next clue, the king said thoughtfully. Betal narrowed his sharp eyes, inspecting the intricate engravings. This is the same language created centuries ago by a powerful sorcerer. Reading it is no easy task. The king took a deep breath. You must read it, Betal. Betal's expression turned grave. O king, I understand this language, but this message is incomplete. It is only one part of a chain. There is another piece that connects with it. We must find that second piece. Will we find it in this chamber? The king asked. Betal nodded slowly. Yes, but only after we solve the riddle I gave you earlier. The king repeated the riddle from memory. I am a force that is invisible, yet I control everything. I am a scream without sound, a wound without touch. Those who understand me survive. Those who ignore me are lost. What am I? A thought struck King Vikram. Could the answer be time? Betal smiled. Well done, O king. Time is the unseen force that governs all. Those who understand it succeed, and those who ignore it fall into ruin. Then it means, the king said, we must interpret the message in this chest through the lens of time. Betal nodded. Exactly. Look closely at the chest now. He opened the lid of the chest. Inside they found an old parchment. Upon it were the words, He who understands the movement of time shall unlock this mystery. When the sun and the moon unite, the door shall open. The king pondered. The sun and the moon together. It must mean a solar eclipse? Betal nodded again. We must wait for the next solar eclipse. Only then can we uncover the true secret hidden in this vault. King Vikram and Betal returned to the fortress, but their minds were ablaze with questions and curiosity. Meanwhile, in a shadowy alley on the far end of the city, a group of suspicious men whispered amongst themselves. The statue has returned, one of them said. Vikramaditya will try again, but this time we must act swiftly. Another replied, How long can we keep Prince Arjun hidden? We need that statue and the treasure that lies with it. The next day, King Vikramaditya summoned his minister and commander. He declared, We must prepare thoroughly before the next solar eclipse. This is no ordinary challenge. The minister replied, Your Majesty, we stand ready in your service. But is there a history behind this mystery? The king responded, This statue holds the remains of an incomplete love story, but it is more than love. Within it lies power, a curse, and the secret of an ancient treasure. That night in the royal court, King Vikram turned to Betal once again. "Do you know the full story of this statue?" he asked. Betal's eyes glimmered. "O king, every time I tell you the story, a new mystery is added. This statue is not just a symbol, it is a trap. Those who fall into it, their souls remain imprisoned." The king asked, "Then can we say that Prince Arjun has been trapped within it?" Betal nodded. "Yes, king, and tonight we shall try to break that trap." The riddle solved and the first trial king. Vikram resolved to return to the underground chamber on the night of the next solar eclipse. He gathered his most trusted soldiers to accompany him. When the eclipse night arrived, the fortress fell into a tense silence. Only faint whispers could be heard from the distant corridors. The king, Betal, and the soldiers entered the vault. The combined light of the sun and moon faintly lit the chamber. Suddenly, the statue's eyes began to glow and ancient letters emerged across the walls. King Vikram read the inscriptions carefully. "He who waits with patience understands the rhythm of time. The first key lies in a hidden truth. Listen to the tale that reveals the secret." Betal said, "O king, now you must hear the story, the one that holds the first key to this mystery." "Speak, Betal," the king commanded. "Tell me the story." Betal's voice lowered into a haunting tone, and he began. The story. Long ago near Malavgarh, in a small village, there lived a sage known as Kalbhairav. He was famed for his wisdom and mystical powers. One day a young man arrived in the village, an outsider who had lost all memory of his past. The sage offered him shelter and began to teach him. That young man's name was Arjun. He was, in truth, a prince, but he did not remember who he truly was. The sage taught him one great lesson. Only by understanding the power of time can one unlock the truths of life. But Arjun struggled with one question. Can time be stopped? King Vikram turned to Betal. Can time really be stopped? Betal smiled mysteriously. That remains to be seen, O king. But that is what keeps this tale tangled in mystery. King Vikramaditya and Betal, after that mysterious night of the solar eclipse, continued to descend deeper into the dark chambers of the underground vault. The story Betal had shared echoed in their minds about Arjun, the lost prince, and the sage Kalbhairav. King Vikram thought to himself, is Arjun the same young man we are trying to save? Is that the real secret hidden behind this golden idol? Betal spoke in a hushed voice. Every mystery has layers, my king. Just like the fading glow of this idol, its past too is deep and complex. Suddenly, strange lights appeared on the walls of the vault. The engravings on the walls, figures and symbols, began to glow, slowly coming to life. King Vikram observed them closely. They narrated a tale of a prince trapped in the web of time. The images revealed the story of Arjun's father and the land of his birth. The king turned to Betal and asked, is it true that Arjun has forgotten his past? Betal nodded. Yes, my king, his forgetfulness is not just magic but a curse tied to this very idol. King Vikram said, then we must restore his identity. But how? Betal replied, there are two paths before us. One, to find sage Kalbhairav, who can return Arjun's lost memories. The second, to uncover the secrets locked inside the idol. Vikram said firmly, we'll follow both paths. We must hurry for our enemies are also closing in on the truth. Meanwhile, in a dark alley outside the palace, a group of shadowy figures gathered. Among them stood a man known as Kaalratri, a powerful sorcerer who desired the secrets of the golden idol for his own dark motives. Kaalratri growled, warn King Vikramaditya, he doesn't understand the rules of this game. If he dares to touch the idol, he will face his greatest fear. Back in the palace, Vikram and Betal began preparing their plan. The first challenge will be to break the magical traps guarding the idol, Betal said. Vikram ordered his soldiers to keep secret watch around the underground chamber. The next morning, King Vikram said to Betal, we must find Kalbhairav. Do you know where he resides? Betal antwoordde, ja, mein koning. He lives in a remote forest near an ancient temple. There we might retrieve Arjun's lost memories. Vikram said, then let's waste no time. Vikram, Betal, and a group of loyal soldiers set out towards the remote forest. As they journeyed deeper, the dense foliage and eerie sounds of the jungle began to surround them. Betal warned, This forest holds many secrets, King. We must tread carefully. Along the way, they encountered many strange challenges, bizarre creatures, hidden pits, and a mysterious pond that shimmered with an unusual glow instead of water. Vikram said, "Nothing here feels ordinary." Betal nodded. When something is deeply mysterious in life, it must be understood with patience and wisdom. At last they reached the ancient temple where Kalbhairav resided. At the temple's gate stood a giant lion statue, its eyes made of glowing red stones. Vikram said, "There is a force guarding this temple." Betal added, "And we must pass through it." Vikram drew his sword, and Betal began chanting his mystical spells. The ancient stone gate creaked open slowly, and they stepped inside. Inside the temple, an old sage sat, smiling gently at them. "I am Kalbhairav," he said. "I have been expecting you, King Vikramaditya and Betal." Vikram asked, "Can you help restore Arjun's memories?" Kalbhairav replied, "Yes, but only after you pass through 3 difficult trials." The first trial, the test of patience and understanding. Kalbhairav handed them an enchanted clock. It had the power to reverse time, but only if they could overcome their deepest inner fears. Vikram closed his eyes and said, "We are ready for the trial." Stay tuned for the next episode, for the mystery is about to grow deeper. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.